Welcome to the Karate Explained podcast, where we break down traditional karate concepts, terminology, and techniques for the modern practitioner. Today's episode is all about something that's often overlooked, but absolutely essential: breathing. We're diving into a fantastic article titled Mastering Breathing in Karate: Techniques for Power, Focus and Flow, written by Mike Williams Kiyoshi, a 6th Dan black belt with 4 decades of experience. This piece explores the science and tradition behind breathing in karate, covering methods like Ibuki, Nogare, Nagare, and Ki, and how breath impacts everything from technique and timing to mindset and endurance. We'll walk through the key takeaways, share insights from the article, and reflect on how breathwork transforms your training, whether you're a white belt or a lifelong practitioner. And of course, if you want to follow along or read the full article, head over to karateexplained.com. We've linked the article in the show notes. Welcome to the deep dive. Whether you're just starting out or you've been training for years, truly understanding how to breathe can unlock a whole new level of power, focus, and, well, flow in your karate.
That's right. And to guide us, we've got a fantastic resource: Mastering Breathing in Karate. Proven techniques for power, focus and flow, from karateexplained.com. A really comprehensive article by Mike Williams Kiyoshi, which we'll definitely be referencing throughout this podcast.
Okay, great.
Think of this deep dive as your direct line to understanding this vital skill, not just as a biological necessity, but as a real strategic advantage in your training.
Exactly. A strategic advantage. I like that. So we're going to unpack why breath is so crucial in everything from your kata to your kumite. We'll break down key techniques like Ibuki and Nogare, and we'll explore how mastering your breath can genuinely elevate your karate practice.
It really can make a huge difference. So let's jump straight into the fundamental question. Why does breath matter so much in karate?
Well, at its heart, proper breathing is kind of the unsung hero, isn't it? As Mike Williams Kiyoshi from Karate Explained tells us, it's the vital link between your mind and body.
The vital link?
Yeah, it's the silent force that underpins your technique, your concentration, and your stamina.
Okay. Let's unpack this strategic advantage idea you mentioned. How exactly does our breath give us an edge?
Think about it. Controlled breathing directly impacts your posture, helps to alleviate stress, and allows you to tap into your energy reserves more efficiently.
Right.
In sparring or kumite, staying calm under pressure is absolutely key, right? And your breath is a direct pathway to that calmness.
Yeah. Okay.
In kata, it dictates the rhythm and the level of control you project. It's not just about getting oxygen in and out, it's about consciously using your breath to enhance your performance.
That makes perfect sense. It's definitely more than just a biological function then.
Precisely. And this is not some new idea. Traditional Okinawan karate masters had a profound understanding of this connection.
They knew this way back when.
Oh yeah. They integrated specific breathing methods directly into kata and developed techniques like Ibuki, that's the force breathing, and Nogare, the flowing breath, to cultivate both physical and mental fortitude. These concepts are explored really well in the Karate Explained article.
And we even have the Japanese term for breathing in our resources, right?
We do. It's pronounced kokyu. Interestingly, if you break down the kanji, ko means to exhale or to call. Kyu means to inhale or to suck in.
Ah. So the word itself describes the whole cycle.
Exactly. The term itself captures the complete cycle. It's seen as a fundamental link between your internal energy, your external movements, and a state of mindful presence during practice. That's something Mike Williams Kiyoshi from Karate Explained really emphasizes.
What's fascinating here is how this ancient wisdom aligns with what modern science is discovering now.
That's right. Contemporary science is now providing pretty strong evidence for the benefits of breath control. We see how it impacts athletic performance, aids in recovery, and even plays a significant role in emotional regulation.
So science is catching up, essentially.
You could say that it's validating what those early masters intuitively understood and meticulously documented in their teachings, much of which is preserved and explained in resources like karateexplained.com.
So now that we understand why it's so important, let's get into the practical side. What are the key advantages of mastering these karate breathing techniques for someone, well, like me or our listeners?
Okay? One of the most immediate benefits you'll probably notice is how it boosts your power and precision.
Power and precision, how?
Well, think about a sharp exhalation, like when you perform a ki during a strike. That focused release of breath helps you concentrate your energy and engage your core muscles more effectively, leading to a more forceful impact. It essentially gives structure to your movement, transforming effort into refined power. As Mike Williams-Kiyoshi from Karate Explained points out, this focused exhalation acts like a lens, concentrating your force.
That makes total sense. It's like all your energy is channeled right into that single point of impact. What about endurance? That's something I'm always working on.
Endurance. Yes. Efficient breathing directly impacts your endurance and how quickly you fatigue. When you breathe effectively, you increase your oxygen intake and regulate your energy expenditure more optimally.
Right. More oxygen, less fatigue.
Exactly. Techniques like diaphragmatic breathing, which we'll definitely delve into shortly, allow you to sustain longer training sessions and recover more efficiently between drills and sparring rounds. That's kumite or even kata performances. The Karate Explained article actually offers some excellent drills to cultivate this efficient breathing.
So it's not just about having more energy in the moment, but also about being able to bounce back quicker for the next set or the next round.
Precisely. And the benefits extend beyond the purely physical. Mastering your breath has a profound impact on your mental focus and awareness too. Controlled breathing helps to calm your nervous system, which in turn reduces stress and sharpens your concentration. This is absolutely crucial in kumite for things like timing and making those split-second decisions. Mike Williams-Kiyoshi discusses this mental clarity aspect extensively in his Karate Explained article.
I can definitely see how staying calm and focused under pressure is key in sparring. What else does proper breathing offer in terms of, say, physical well-being? Injury prevention?
Yeah, it plays a vital role in preventing injuries and supporting proper body mechanics. When you breathe correctly, it helps stabilize your core and maintain correct posture during various movements, whether you're turning, striking, or even doing throws.
I see.
This ensures your body stays aligned and protected, and also reduces unnecessary tension that could potentially lead to injury down the line. The Karate Explained article emphasizes how proper breathing is really integral to sound biomechanics in karate.
So it's almost like an internal support system that protects you as you train. A bit like an internal brace.
You could definitely say that, yeah. And finally, one of the deeper benefits is that it strengthens the mind-body connection.
The mind-body connection. Yeah.
In traditional karate, breathing is seen as a pathway to cultivating zanshin. That's a state of sustained mental presence or awareness and overall internal balance. It acts as a bridge linking your internal intention with your external actions. This concept is explored beautifully in the Karate Explained article, highlighting its importance for achieving martial excellence.
This is all incredibly compelling. So how exactly does this breath control translate into enhanced karate performance in practical terms? Like when I'm actually doing kihon or kata?
Okay, let's break it down further. When it comes to energy and endurance, as we touched on, efficient diaphragmatic breathing is absolutely key. By maximizing your oxygen intake, You fuel your muscles more effectively, which directly delays fatigue. Whether you're doing Kihon, Kata, or Kumite, it's really about making your body's engine run more smoothly. And Mike Williams Kyoshi from Karate Explained provides specific breathing patterns you can integrate right into your Kihon practice.
So deeper breaths mean more fuel for my muscles and less tiring out quickly. Got it. What about the mental side again, especially when facing an opponent in Kumite?
Well, intentional breathing is just such a powerful tool for sharpening your mental focus and reducing stress. As we mentioned, it activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which has a calming effect on your mind.
Ah, the rest and digest system, right?
Exactly. This improved mental clarity directly translates to better timing, quicker decision making, and enhanced awareness of your surroundings. Really important when facing an opponent. The Karate Explained article details how to use breath to cultivate this mental edge, specifically for Kumite.
It's like you're creating a mental stillness, a calm space that allows you to react more effectively to whatever your opponent throws at you.
That's right. And then there's the impact on technique, execution, and core stability. When you consciously exhale during a strike or block, you automatically engage your core muscles. This not only enhances your balance and coordination, but also contributes to more explosive power on impact and a greater fluidity between your techniques. Your whole movement becomes more efficient and more mindful. This core engagement through breath is a key principle outlined in the Karate Explained article.
So the exhale isn't just about getting air out, it's actively contributing to the power behind my techniques. It's part of the technique itself.
Precisely. And let's not forget about recovery and posture. Rhythmic breathing, especially after exertion, aids in recovery by helping to lower your heart rate and recenter both your body and mind.
That makes sense.
Furthermore, the practice of correct breathing naturally encourages better posture, which, as we discussed, is crucial for preventing injuries and ensuring proper technique. Mike Williams Kyoshi addresses this link between breath and posture in detail as well.
It really sounds like mastering breath control weaves its way into every single aspect of karate, impacting both the physical and mental game. Okay, now to understand how to train this, we should probably understand the mechanics a bit better. What's the breathing system for a karateka? What parts are involved?
Absolutely. Understanding the anatomy definitely helps you appreciate the how behind the why. The diaphragm is really the star player here.
The diaphragm.
Think of it as your primary breathing engine. It's a dome-shaped muscle sitting below your lungs, and its contraction and flattening during inhalation is what creates space for your lungs to expand, allowing for those deep, controlled breaths that are so vital.
Right.
It's also crucial for generating internal tension and stabilizing your core. As the Karate Explained article emphasizes, the diaphragm is fundamental to generating power from your center, your hara.
So it's more than just a muscle for breathing in and out. It's an integral part of my power generation system when I'm performing techniques.
Exactly. And then you have your abdominal and core muscles. These aren't just for show. They work in tandem with the diaphragm to stabilize your trunk during movement and, importantly, to compress the air for those forceful exhalations like during ki or in Ibuki breathing. They support your posture and spinal alignment as well. The Karate Explained article details how these muscles work together with your breath.
So when we talk about engaging the core during a strike, the way we breathe plays a really significant role in that engagement.
It's all connected, absolutely. And we also need to consider the rib cage in the thoracic spine, the upper back. The rib cage, of course, protects your lungs and extends with each inhalation, while the thoracic spine allows for that effective movement of the ribs. If your posture is poor, say you're slouched or too rigid, it directly restricts your breathing capacity. Maintaining an upright yet relaxed posture is key for allowing your rib cage to expand fully and maximizing your lung capacity. That's essential for both sustained breathing and those short bursts of power. Mike Williams Kiyoshi dedicates a section in his Karate Explained article to the importance of posture for optimal breathing.
So, posture and breathing are completely interconnected in how they affect my karate performance. One affects the other.
They really are. Finally, it's important to differentiate between natural and trained breathing. Most of us breathe without conscious thought, right? But that natural breathing isn't always optimal for the demands of karate.
How so?
It can often be shallow or irregular, especially under stress. Trained breathing, on the other hand, is developed through focused practice. It gives you conscious control over the timing, the rhythm, and the efficiency of your breath, allowing you to match it precisely with your movements and stay calm and centered even when things get intense. The Karate Explained article guides you through the process of developing this trained breathing.
So, just like we train our stances and our strikes, we need to actively train our breath to make it a more effective tool. How do we actually go about that? How do we move from that natural, often inefficient breathing to these optimal patterns that the Karate Explained article talks about?
You've hit the nail on the head there. Breath control is indeed a learned skill. Just like any other aspect of karate, the first step, as Mike Williams Kiyoshi outlines in his article, is becoming aware of your current breathing habits.
Self-awareness first?
Exactly. A simple assessment drill is to stand relaxed, place one hand on your chest and the other on your abdomen, and just breathe normally for about 30 seconds. Pay attention to which hand moves more.
Okay. Chest or belly?
Right. If it's the hand on your chest moving significantly, it might indicate a reliance on that shallower, less efficient chest breathing. Also consider if your breathing becomes erratic under stress, if you tend to hold your breath during techniques, which is really common, and if your breath is synchronized with your movements at all. That's self-awareness.
Awareness seems like a really crucial starting point. Okay. So once we understand our current habits, what are the first steps we can take to actually improve our breathing efficiency? According to Karate Explained, the foundation is diaphragmatic or abdominal breathing. This is where you consciously engage your diaphragm to draw air deeply into your lungs, allowing your belly to rise while keeping your chest relatively still.
Exactly. It's something you need to practice regularly to make it your default. You can do this by sitting or standing tall, placing one hand on your abdomen and the other on your chest, and then inhaling slowly through your nose, focusing on that belly rise and exhaling gently through your mouth, feeling your belly contract.
Just practicing that basic mechanics.
Yeah. Doing this for just a few minutes each day, as suggested in the Karate Explained article, can make a significant difference over time.
So the initial focus is on retraining our bodies to breathe from the belly, engaging that diaphragm, rather than relying on those shallow chest breaths.
Exactly. And then once you have that foundation, you start linking your breath with your movements. In karate, the breath needs to be dynamic, adapting to the flow of your techniques.
Right. Not static.
A general guideline, and one that Karate Explained reinforces, is to inhale during the preparation or transitional phases of a movement, and exhale during the execution or the point of impact.
Inhale on prep. Exhale on execution.
Generally, yes. For sharp, powerful techniques, you'll use sharper exhalations. For slower, more circular movements, your breath will be smoother. Practicing your basic techniques, your kihon, with conscious breath awareness is a great way to start.
Like during punches, for instance.
Yeah. If you're doing a series of punches, you might inhale as you step into your stance and then exhale sharply with each punch, as Mike Williams Kiyoshi illustrates in his article.
So it's about creating a clear rhythm where the breath directly supports and enhances the physical action of the technique, not just happening alongside it.
Precisely. And like any other karate practice, consistency is key. Make breath training a daily habit. You can incorporate a few minutes of diaphragmatic breathing before each training session. Pay attention to your breath during your warm-ups and basic drills. Maybe practice mindful nose breathing for a minute or two during your recovery periods. And then finish your training with a few minutes of calm breathing to help.
Reduce stress, integrating it throughout the session.
Right. Over time, this conscious awareness and control will become more and more natural, almost second nature. That's a point that the Karate Explained article really emphasizes.
It sounds like a gradual process of first building awareness of how we breathe, and then actively integrating that awareness into our karate movements until it becomes automatic. Now, the article touches on both traditional and scientific approaches to breathing in karate. Can you elaborate on that, especially in the context of the Karate Explained article?
Certainly. As we discussed earlier, breathing has always held a significant place in karate, long before modern science began to, quantify its benefits. Traditional masters whose insights are preserved and explained in resources like karateexplained.com understood its importance for cultivating inner strength, managing tension, and connecting movement with intention.
Okay.
Within this traditional framework, there are 3 key breathing concepts that are really crucial to understand. And Mike Williams Kiyoshi dedicates a significant portion of his article to these.
Okay, let's dive into those. The first one mentioned is Ibuki. What can you tell us about that? Based on the Karate Explained article.
Right. Ibuki. This is a method of forced tension-based breathing. It's often audible and involves deliberate muscular tension, especially in the core and abdomen.
Forced and tense. Where is it used?
You commonly see it in Nahate lineage kata, particularly in forms like zanshin and tensho, or during techniques that require a very rooted and powerful connection to the ground. Mike Williams Kiyoshi, in his Karate Explained article, explains that the main purpose of Ibuki is to build internal pressure and focus, strengthen the core, and what's known as the hara in karate, your center of gravity, to generate explosive force and cultivate mental discipline.
So it's for building internal power.
Exactly. It's typically practiced in stillness or during very slow, intentional movements, not for general flow, but specifically to develop that raw power and resilience. The exhale is forceful and deliberate, aimed at building what's called narioku, or the feeling of deep-rooted power emanating from your core by coordinating your diaphragm control with muscular tension, as detailed in the Karate Explained article.
So Ibuki is a very active and intentional way of breathing, almost like bracing yourself from the inside out to generate maximum power and stability.
That's a good way to put it. Then we have Nogare. So how does that differ from Ibuki according to Karate Explained? Okay, Nogare is essentially the counterpart to Ibuki. It's a softer, more sustained and controlled exhalation. Where Ibuki is about tension and force, Nogare focuses on relaxation, rhythm, and continuity.
Soft and sustained. The opposite.
Pretty much. You'll often find this type of breathing in more flowing kata sequences or when transitioning smoothly between postures. Mike Williams Kiyoshi, in his Karate Explained article, highlights that the purpose of Nogare is to regulate your breath during longer movements, prevent unnecessary tension from building up, support smooth transitions and timing, and conserve energy while still maintaining a state of alertness.
Ah, so it keeps you calm and efficient during flow.
Exactly. So while Ibuki is rooted and powerful, Nogare is fluid and adaptive. Both are essential for a balanced karate practice, but serve very different purposes. As explained in detail in the Karate Explained article, it's a gentle, natural exhalation that promotes softness and subtle control, ideal for restoring balance and sensitivity within a kata.
Okay, so Ibuki is about generating power, and Nogare is more about maintaining flow and conserving energy throughout a series of movements. What about the third concept? Nogare. How does the Karate Explained article describe that one?
Nogare literally translates to flow in the context of karate breathing. It's not so much a specific type of exhalation like the other two, but rather a conceptual principle. It's the seamless and unbroken synchronization of your breath with your movement.
It's a principle, not just one technique.
That's right. Mike Williams Kiyoshi emphasizes that the purpose of Nogare is to promote effortless movement and timing, maintain breath awareness throughout an entire kata or during kumite, enhance the mind-body connection, and support your spontaneity and adaptability when under pressure. Nogare is typically used in Itosu lineage kata.
Like an invisible thread connecting everything.
That's a great way to think about it. When you're applying Nogare effectively, there are no abrupt starts or stops in either your breath or your movement. It's all one smooth, dynamic flow. This is often something that develops over time once a practitioner has a good grasp of the basic control offered by Ibuki and Nogare. As Mike Williams Kiyoshi points out, it's about breathing as you move and moving as you breathe.
So Nogare is the ultimate integration of breath and action, creating a fluid and continuous expression of the karate techniques. What's really striking is how these traditional concepts, thoroughly explored in the Karate Explained article, stand up to modern scientific scrutiny. It's not just mystical stuff.
It's remarkable, isn't it? Modern research in areas like sports physiology, biomechanics, and neuroscience has provided significant validation for these age-old practices.
Like what?
Specifically, for example, we now understand how diaphragmatic breathing, which is a key component of both Ibuki and Nogare, improves lung efficiency, supports cardiovascular health, and delivers more oxygen to working muscles. Science also shows us how breath control activates the parasympathetic nervous system, helping to manage stress, sharpen focus, and maintain calmness under pressure, all crucial elements in sparring and grading situations. Furthermore, the forced exhalation seen in Ibuki has been shown to engage the deep abdominal muscles, which directly improves postural control and reduces the risk of injury during dynamic movements. And studies even indicate that athletes who practice breath training experience better heart rate variability, faster recovery after exercise, and reduced overall fatigue. These scientific findings really reinforce the wisdom detailed in the Karate Explained article.
It's incredible how tradition, as understood and passed down by masters, and now explained by Mike Williams Kiyoshi, and modern science, converge on these fundamental principles of breathing. They figured it out through practice.
Absolutely. These traditional methods weren't just random inventions. They were born from keen observation of the body, energy, and movement over centuries. Science now provides the explanations for why they are so effective.
So understanding both helps?
Definitely. By understanding the function of each method, you can consciously apply Ibuki to train power and tension, use Nogare to maintain composure and flow, and cultivate Nogare to achieve that seamless integration of breath, movement, and intent. Each has its specific place and purpose, and together they form a very comprehensive approach to breath control in karate, all clearly articulated in the Karate Explained article.
This gives us a fantastic foundation in the traditional and scientific understanding of breathing in karate, especially thanks to the insights from the Karate Explained article. Now let's move into how advanced practitioners refine their breathing even further. We've talked about Ibuki, Nogare, and Nagare. What else becomes part of the advanced breathing toolkit for someone looking to take their karate to the next level?
Well, as you progress in karate, your breath truly becomes a highly refined skill. Beyond those three core concepts, another crucial element is the ki, the shout.
Right, but while it's often thought of just as a shout, Mike Williams Kiyoshi explains in his article that it's fundamentally a focused, explosive exhalation that expresses your willpower, sharpens your intent, and actually amplifies the physical impact of your technique.
Correct. The ki is much more than just making noise. It's a physical act of powerful breathing synchronized with your technique, with intent behind it. There's a comprehensive article on Ki in the Karate Explained Knowledge Vault. It's linked in the show notes, and it's well worth reading.
Absolutely. KarateExplained.com has some great resources. Okay, so the 4 primary breathing techniques or principles that advanced karate practitioners utilize are all thoroughly covered in the Karate Explained article. First, that foundational diaphragmatic breathing, the belly breath, which, as we've discussed, is used constantly in basic Kihon, daily training, and for recovery. Second, Ibuki, that forceful, often audible exhalation with core contraction used for those bursts of power. And when you need to maintain really rooted stances, it's invaluable for building internal pressure and mental discipline. Third, Nogare, the soft, sustained exhalation that supports rhythm and continuity, especially useful in kata transitions and for recovery, helping to release tension and promote efficiency. Fourth is Nogare, which, as we've said, is more of a principle of that unbroken coordination between your breath and your movement, something you develop through dedicated practice and apply throughout your kata and in the flow of kumite.
The seamless flow.
Right. And finally, we have the Ki, that focused, explosive exhalation, often with vocalization, used at those critical finishing strikes, or to disrupt your opponent in sparring, channeling your energy and reinforcing your spirit. The Karate Explained article provides detailed guidance on mastering each of these distinct elements. It sounds like a sophisticated system, where you're constantly and consciously adapting your breathing to the specific demands of each moment in your karate practice. It's not just one size fits all.
Exactly. And a key aspect of advanced practice, and one that the Karate Explained article emphasizes, is learning how to smoothly transition between these different types of breathing. The transitions are key. For instance, you might start a kata with calm, diaphragmatic breathing, shift to Ibuki to prepare for a powerful grounded technique like a low block in a deep stance, then flow into Nogare for a series of continuous lighter movements, maintaining that principle of Nogare throughout and using a well-timed Ki to emphasize a crucial strike or block.
That makes perfect sense. It's not just about mastering each type of breath in isolation, but about knowing precisely when and how to weave them together seamlessly within the context of the kata or fight. Does Karate Explained offer any practical drills for incorporating these advanced techniques into my training?
It does. Mike Williams Kiyoshi provides several useful examples. A sample practice drill could involve starting with a couple of minutes of focused diaphragmatic breathing just to center yourself, then moving into basic Kihon exercises where you consciously exhale rhythmically with each technique, perhaps incorporating a sharp Kia every few repetitions. Then you can transition into performing a short kata, maybe Pinan Shodan, focusing specifically on utilizing Nogare breathing for the flowing sequences between the major techniques. This kind of drill, detailed in the Karate Explained article, helps you become more aware of how each breathing technique feels and how it supports different types of movement and different levels of intensity.
That sounds like a really effective way to start experimenting with these different breathing methods in a structured way, rather than just trying to guess. Now, how do we actually apply these breathing techniques when we're performing a kata or engaging in kumite?
Application. That's where the rubber really meets the road, isn't it? And where the guidance in the Karate Explained article becomes invaluable. In kata, it's all about synchronizing your breath with each technique.
Synchronization?
Yeah. Remember to inhale during your preparations or transitions between movements, and exhale during the execution of your blocks, strikes, or turns. For slower, more deliberate movements, your breath should be steady and controlled, perhaps utilizing Nogare to maintain that smooth flow.
And avoid holding the breath.
Absolutely crucial. Avoid holding your breath, as that disrupts the rhythm, builds tension, and hinders the overall expression of the kata. when you encounter those powerful grounded techniques within a kata. That's where Ibuki can come into play, reinforcing your posture and building that internal pressure for maximum impact.
Ah, okay.
Throughout the entire kata, depending on which kata you are practicing, strive for Nogare, that seamless flow of breath and movement, unifying the form into a single, continuous expression. And don't forget the strategic use of ki at key moments to amplify your intent and spirit. The Karate Explained article breaks down exactly how to integrate breath into various specific kata movements.
So in kata, your breath is almost like an internal metronome that sets the rhythm and a power amplifier that enhances the force behind your techniques, all woven together. What about in kumite? How do we apply these breathing principles when facing an opponent that seems much less predictable?
It is less predictable. So in kumite, your breathing needs to be much more reactive and adaptive before you even engage with your opponent. Mike Williams Kiyoshi recommends taking a deep, calming, diaphragmatic breath to help regulate your heart rate and sharpen your focus.
Calm yourself first.
Right. Set your mental state and help prevent that feeling of being overwhelmed by adrenaline. During attacks or when you're executing a counter technique, make sure to exhale forcefully, just as you would in your basic kihon. This helps control tension, channel your power, and support your timing and impact.
So, sharp exhale on the strike.
Exactly. The ki can be used tactically in kumite, not just for power generation, but also to assert control, project confidence, and potentially disrupt your opponent's rhythm or concentration.
Ah, using it tactically. Interesting.
And between exchanges, even if they're brief, try to utilize Nogare-style breathing to quickly regain your composure. A couple of controlled breaths can help you reset your rhythm and prepare for the next interaction.
Ah, resetting between bursts.
Yes, and just like in kata, aim to maintain that underlying principle of Nogare, allowing your breath to flow naturally with your movement and footwork. Avoid letting those short bursts of action lead to erratic, gasping breathing. Instead, let your breath be a constant, supportive element. The Karate Explained article provides valuable insights into tactical breathing, specifically for kumite.
It sounds like in kumite, your breath is a vital tool for both explosive action and attack, and rapid recovery, and mental reset between exchanges, a constant companion. Are there any common mistakes people make when trying to apply these breathing techniques in kata and kumite that the Karate Explained article advises to watch out for?
Oh, absolutely. Mike Williams Kiyoshi highlights several common pitfalls. These include holding your breath, especially during transitions or when you're under pressure. That's a big one.
Holding the breath. Okay.
Also, having inconsistent breathing rhythms between different techniques, letting unnecessary tension build up in your shoulders or chest, which restricts your breath, and overusing the ki without real intent or proper timing. Just making noise.
Right. Shouting without purpose.
Exactly. The key, as emphasized in the Karate Explained article, is to remember that your breath should always serve your technique and support your mental state, not distract from it or hinder it.
That's a great reminder. It's not about just going through the motions of breathing, but about making it an integral and conscious part of each and every action in our karate. The article also mentioned progressive breathing drills for karate training. Can you give us an overview of those? Perhaps drawing on the examples in the Karate Explained article. How do we build this skill step by step?
Yeah. Just like you progress in your physical training, you need to progressively challenge and develop your breath control. Mike Williams Kiyoshi outlines a clear progression for beginners. The focus is really on building that fundamental awareness and control, starting with exercises like simple abdominal breathing. Practice whether you're seated or standing, and understanding the difference in benefits of nose versus mouth breathing. At the intermediate level, the drills start to link breath with movement more directly.
like we discussed earlier.
Yeah. Such as practicing rhythmic breathing with fundamental Kihon techniques and incorporating breath retention during isometric holds, like holding a stance to build core stability and tension control. Okay, adding complexity then. For more advanced practitioners, the drills become more adaptive and pressure-based. This might involve performing entire kata with a specific focus on integrating Nogare and Ibuki, Nogare and Ki consciously, engaging in kumite or shadow sparring while applying tactical breathing patterns.
Simulating the real thing.
Exactly. There are also pressure test drills that combine physical exertion like push-ups or sprints while maintaining controlled breathing immediately after, to simulate the demands of a real sparring situation or tough grading. The Karate Explained article offers specific examples for each of these levels.
It sounds like a well-structured approach to gradually building that essential breath control as we advance in our karate journey. What are some practical ways a karateka can monitor their progress in this area of their training? How do I know if I'm getting better?
That's a great question. Mike Williams Kiyoshi suggests several methods. Keeping a simple breath journal where you note the duration, the quality, and any challenges you face during your breathwork can be very helpful for tracking trends.
A journal. Okay.
Recording short videos of your kata or kihon can allow you to visually assess how well your breath and movement are synchronized or not synchronized.
Seeing it for yourself.
Yeah. And seeking specific feedback from your instructor or a trusted training partner specifically on your breathing during sparring or kata can provide invaluable external insights.
Asking for feedback.
Definitely. Over time, you should start to notice tangible improvements. Less tension in your upper body, more power in your techniques with less perceived effort, improved recovery between periods of exertion, and a greater overall awareness of your internal rhythm and state. The Karate Explained article emphasizes the importance of this self-assessment and feedback loop for continuous improvement.
These progressive drills and ways to monitor progress, all outlined in the Karate Explained article, seem like a very practical roadmap for anyone wanting to significantly improve their karate through better breathing habits. Now, we've talked a lot about the physical benefits, but the Karate Explained article also touches on the mental and emotional mastery that comes hand in hand with breath control. Can you elaborate on that connection?
Absolutely. This is a really profound aspect in karate. Your breath is truly a gateway to mental clarity, emotional regulation, and that deep sense of inner calm, or heijoshin.
Okay.
When you learn to control your breath intentionally, it becomes a powerful bridge connecting your mind and body, allowing you to stay focused, composed, and present, even when facing intense pressure. Mike Williams Kiyoshi dedicates a section in his Karate Explained article to this crucial mind-body connection through breath.
How exactly does consciously controlling my breath enhance my mental focus and concentration during training? Seems simple, but how does it work?
Think of your breath as an anchor for your attention. In the fast-paced environment of training or during the execution of a complex kata, your mind can wander, right? Focusing on your breath can help to quiet those racing thoughts, sharpen your sense of timing and rhythm, and bring your awareness firmly back to the present moment.
Anchoring the mind.
Exactly. For example, taking just a few conscious deep breaths before a grading or a competition can help settle your nerves and enhance your mental readiness. Coordinating your breath with your movements during kihon and kata improves your mindfulness and reduces distractions. And in kumite, breath awareness can support your tactical thinking and prevent you from panicking when things get intense. The Karate Explained article provides specific techniques to use your breath as a focal point.
So it's like a mental reset button that I can access literally at any time, just using my breath to bring me back to the present moment and enhance my focus. What about managing stress and emotions? That's something a lot of people struggle with, both in the dojo and in daily life. How does breath control help with that?
According to the Karate Explained article, breath control is incredibly effective for stress reduction and emotional regulation. It directly activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest system we mentioned, which helps to lower levels of stress hormones like cortisol and reduce feelings of anxiety or nervousness.
Physiologically calming.
Yes, it can also help to lower your heart rate and stabilize your emotions over time, building your overall emotional resilience. In practical terms, you can use controlled breathing, maybe slow exhales to help you recover after a challenging technique or a tough sparring round where your adrenaline spiked.
Okay.
Practicing deep breathing before you even step into the dojo can help you leave the stresses of your day behind and enter training with a clearer mind. And regulating your breath after training can help you transition from that state of intensity back to a place of calm before you leave. In his article, Mike Williams Kiyoshi offers practical breathing exercises specifically for managing stress and enhancing emotional control.
It sounds like a really powerful and readily available tool for managing my internal state, both physically and emotionally. Almost like a superpower hiding in plain sight. And you mentioned this concept of mind-body connection earlier, a key theme in the Karate Explained article. How does breath specifically play into that deeper connection between my mental and physical being in karate?
Well, karate isn't just about performing a sequence of techniques mechanically. It's about embodying them fully with intent, spirit, and awareness. Breath helps you cultivate that deep unity between your mind and your body.
Embodiment.
Yeah, through intentional breathing, you become more attuned to how your body is moving, where you might be holding unnecessary tension, whether your timing is precise or slightly off, and what your internal energy feels like from moment to moment. This heightened awareness is absolutely key to developing zanshin, a state of continuous awareness and readiness.
Right?
And it deepens your sense of control, flow, and presence, especially in kata or bunkai applications, where every single moment needs to be purposeful and connected. In kata, your breath provides cues for rhythm, tension, and relaxation. In kumite, it helps you anticipate, adapt, and react with greater clarity and less panic. And even in your daily life, conscious breathing can become a valuable tool for grounding yourself, aiding in recovery from stress and promoting reflection. The Karate Explained article beautifully articulates this integral role of breath in fostering the mind-body connection in karate.
So it's a truly holistic benefit that extends far beyond just the physical practice of karate, impacting my mental and emotional well-being across the board. Okay, now to bring everything together, let's touch on some of the common mistakes people make with their breathing in karate and how to troubleshoot them. Perhaps drawing on the guidance offered in the Karate Explained article. What are the things to avoid?
Absolutely. Even experienced karateka can sometimes fall into less than ideal breathing habits, particularly when they're tired, stressed, or under pressure. One really common mistake, as highlighted in the Karate Explained article, is shallow chest breathing.
Chest breathing again?
Yeah, where you're primarily using your upper chest to breathe. This limits oxygen intake and can lead to increased fatigue and tension in the shoulders and neck. The fix for this, as we've discussed, is consistent practice of diaphragmatic breathing, really focusing on that belly movement rather than the rising and falling of your chest.
Okay. Focus on the belly. What else?
Another frequent issue is holding your breath during techniques, especially during kicks, punches, or complex turns.
Why do we do that?
Often it's unconscious tension or concentrating too hard on the movement itself, but it disrupts your flow, increases internal tension unnecessarily, and reduces oxygen delivery right when you need it. The solution is to consciously exhale sharply, almost like a mini ki. Doesn't have to be loud during each technique. You can even try counting out loud or making quiet breath sounds when you're practicing kihon, just to maintain that awareness. The Karate Explained article offers specific drills to overcome this breath-holding habit.
What are some other common errors in breathing technique that Karate Explained helps us identify and correct that people might not even realize they're doing?
Another one is mistiming your breathing with your movements, maybe inhaling on impact or exhaling too late or too early relative to the technique. This can reduce the efficiency and rhythm of your technique, making it feel disjointed.
How do we fix that?
To correct this, Mike Williams Kiyoshi recommends practicing your kata very slowly, with very clear mental cues. For when you should inhale and exhale, try doing shadow techniques while verbally stating inhale or exhale with the corresponding part of the movement. Using a mirror or video feedback can also help you observe if your breath and movement are properly synchronized.
Ah, slow practice and feedback.
Sometimes people also develop overtension in their inhalation, forcing the breath in with visible strain in the neck or shoulders. This actually wastes energy and restricts full lung expansion. The key here is to keep your inhalations gentle, smooth, and ideally silent, primarily through the nose if possible, and to focus your tension mainly on the exhalation phase when needed, like during Ibuki or a strike.
So, gentle inhale, controlled exhale.
Right. And finally, under the pressure of kumite, breathing can often become uncontrolled or fast, shallow, and inconsistent, almost hyperventilating. Practicing tactical breathing between rounds, like a simple 4-count inhale and a 4-count exhale, can help regain control. Using Nogare-style breathing after intense bursts of movement can also help settle things down. Training under controlled pressure while consciously focusing on regulating your breath is crucial. The Karate Explained article provides a comprehensive guide to troubleshooting all these common breathing mistakes.
That's a really helpful overview of common pitfalls and clear, actionable advice on how to address them all. Informed by the expert guidance in Karate Explained, it sounds like constant self-awareness and focused, deliberate practice are absolutely key to overcoming these issues and truly mastering our breath in karate.
Exactly. Just like with any other aspect of karate, stances, blocks, strikes, and breath comes through that ongoing awareness and consistent practice. And the Karate Explained article really serves as an invaluable companion on that journey, guiding you through the process.
Well, this has been a truly illuminating deep dive into the vital role of breathing in karate. It's so clear now that it's far more than just an automatic bodily function. It's a fundamental skill that profoundly underpins our power, our focus, and our overall mastery of the art.
Absolutely. As we've explored, mastering your breath is the crucial link connecting your physical technique, your mental clarity, and your emotional control. Remember, the key takeaways, all thoroughly discussed in the Karate Explained article, establish that solid foundation of diaphragmatic breathing, the belly breath. First, learn to effectively apply Ibuki for power, Nogare for flow, and cultivate Nagare for integration in different contexts. Understand the true purpose and application of the ki. Treat your breath as an active and essential partner in your training, including kata and kumite, and commit to regularly refining your breathing habits through conscious practice.
So, what's the most crucial next step for our listeners who are inspired to integrate this more deeply into their practice after our discussion today? Where should they start?
Make it intentional. That's the key. Make breathing an integral part of every single karate session, not something you do passively or forget about until you're gasping for air.
Be conscious of it.
Right. Begin with conscious breathing exercises before you start. Focus intently on your breath rhythm during your drills and in kata. And take a deliberate moment after each training session to reflect not just on your techniques, but also on your breathing patterns. What worked? What didn't? Reflect and adjust exactly over time with consistent effort. And by applying the principles outlined in the Karate Explained article, this conscious control will become more and more instinctive, enhancing every aspect of your karate almost without you having to think about it constantly.
It's a continuous journey of refinement that, much like karate itself, never really ends.
Precisely. As the wisdom goes, master your breath and you begin to master yourself. Master yourself and your karate will follow. Both karate and breath mastery are lifelong journeys that begin with that first step of awareness and consistent practice.
That was a powerful dive into the world of karate breathing. Honestly, I think most people underestimate just how much mastering the breath can change their entire practice.
A powerful thought to end on. And for those of you who are truly serious about delving even deeper into these concepts and further enhancing your karate journey, we wholeheartedly recommend checking out the resource that has so richly informed our discussion today. Mastering Breathing in Karate. Proven Techniques for Power, Focus and Flow. Explained by Mike Williams Kiyoshi. It's an incredibly valuable and authoritative guide for both beginners seeking a solid foundation and seasoned practitioners striving for that next level of mastery.
Absolutely. It sounds like an essential guide to have in your karate toolkit for anyone serious about improving. Well, that brings us to the end of this deep dive. Thank you for joining us as we explored this absolutely essential, though sometimes overlooked, element of karate.
Big thanks again to Mike Williams Kiyoshi for sharing decades of knowledge through this article. If you haven't already, go check it out at karateexplained.com, especially the full breathing guide in the Knowledge Vault. And if you're serious about growing in traditional karate, karateexplained.com is the place to be. It's packed with insights, terminology breakdowns, kata studies, and more. Thanks for listening. And remember,